Hello everyone, this is Shadris from SCAI 2024 in Long Beach. I'm really privileged with two early career recipients for the grant. Congratulations for Andy as well as Eric for receiving the grants. I was talking with you, Andy, about your grants in terms of the idea, how easy it is, and how people can apply for the grant.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Chadi, for speaking with us, and it's been a real honor. The SCAI Early Career Grant Program is a relatively new program. There are now 3 cycles that have gone through. It was kind of the brainchild, I think, of Sunil Rao during his presidency, and there are a number of industry sponsors that sponsor grants, unrestricted educational grants through SCAI for research in specific topic areas. I was fortunate to receive a grant through SCAI from Medtronic, and my topic was cardiovascular disease in type 1 diabetics as opposed to type 2 diabetics. The idea was that most of the care we provide for diabetics with cardiovascular disease is really derived from type 2 diabetics, and we extrapolate from type 2 diabetics to type 1 diabetics who honestly have a totally different disease, right? It's a pathophysiology of having no insulin as opposed to insulin insensitivity and way too much insulin. And so I was very fortunate to be able to use the grant to support that.
Yeah, I will move to you again, Eric. Congratulations for the study. So tell us about your trial, what's your idea, and how was it easy to apply?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a formative trial or a grant to be able to apply for. It was really nice to have the additional funding to really get the analytic needs that we had for our study, and really helped leverage my program and also some of my trainees who are coming up that had the opportunity to work on the grant with me. For the project, we looked at really the external impact of different controversies as well as the pandemic and how it influenced peripheral vascular care. And in the last decade, we've seen controversies with our drug-coated devices, we saw the pandemic, we've seen some bad press around peripheral vascular care, and so we really want to look at trends and use of these procedures and outcomes and how they've been influenced by these external factors.
So from going back to Andy, is this a database that SCAI will help you get this database, or to help you fund to get this database?
Yeah, so the data for my project, for the diabetes project, we use the Veradigm Metabolic Registry, formerly the ACC NCDR Diabetes Collaborative Registry, a registry with over 1.5 million data points, patients followed longitudinally for more than 5 years with diabetes, and data access and data analytics, as Eric said, cost money. That's a resource we need,
Yes.
And the SCAI Medtronic grant was a fantastic vehicle to be able to access the data and the analysis necessary for the research project.
I'll stay with you, Andy. Is this expected to finish within a certain time period, like to present it next year, or this is a flexible timeline?
Yeah, so Eric and I both received the grant previously and both presented our research during this SCAI session. It's anticipated to be a 1-year project.
Okay, awesome. So let's go above the finding, Eric, about your study, and then we'll move back to Andy.
Yeah, so it was a great project, and again, like Andy said, the 1-year timeline made us move quickly, but also really helped us made us motivated to get the work done, and we really nicely were able to access Medicare data up until December 2023, so just less than half a year ago. And what we found was all these different things that happened in the peripheral vascular care space really had an impact, and what you would imagine. So again, paclitaxel-coated devices kind of came under attack. The use dropped off precipitously overnight, and it took really about 5 years. Now we're just finally getting back to where we were before in 2018. But the other thing that we really learned from our research is the whole peripheral vascular space has been contracting. There's been less procedures performed the last 5 years, and honestly, outcomes are looking a little bit worse now post the COVID period and even after this paclitaxel part. So I think we've slid back a little bit, and that was what we're really trying to isolate from these findings to try to motivate us to do better for our vascular patients.
Do you have an explanation why these patients do worse?
Well, I think part of it is a little reticence to even go to vascular doctors right now. There's been so much bad press in there that people are, I think, sitting on their disease. I think people have very complex comorbid illnesses right now, and they need multi-specialty care, and we just are not really offering that right now. And then I do think there's harm in not using the most forward progressive devices. So again, drug-coated stents. Can you imagine doing coronary intervention with bare metal stents again? And so that's kind of how I looked at what the peripheral vascular space looked like when paclitaxel was under attack.
Andy, walk us through the findings of your study.
Yeah, so we looked at a database of more than 1.5 million people with diabetes, and we were specifically interested in people who were receiving care for either type 1 or type 2 diabetes. So we restricted ourselves to patients who were seeing a primary care physician or an endocrinologist in that registry. Among 222,000 some patients, we identified almost 14,000 type 1 diabetics, the remainder type 2 diabetics. We found, certainly, as expected, there were demographic and comorbidity differences between the type 1 and type 2 diabetics. Of note, certainly more comorbid hypertension and dyslipidemia, older age in the type 2 diabetics. Higher hemoglobin A1C, average 7.5 versus 7.0 in the type 1 diabetics. When adjusted for age, sex, and comorbidities, we found the rate of incident cardiovascular events was significantly lower in patients with type 1 diabetes than type 2 diabetes. So the rate of stroke, the rate of MI, the rate of PCI, all lower in type 1 diabetics. Overall, the lower event rate had a risk ratio of 0.59 when adjusted. And we found that even when adjusted for hemoglobin A1C, average hemoglobin A1C, that difference persisted. So our conclusion, and I think what we're excited about, is that we're really entering an age of more personalized, individualized medicine, and all diabetes is not created alike. This is really hypothesis generating that we need to individualize our care for type 1 diabetics and treat them appropriately for their disease and not lump them in with type 2 diabetics.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations for both of you for being recipient as well as presenter at SCAI 2024. Great job and congratulations. And for our viewers who watch these videos and others on SCAI TV, this is Chad Reyes from Long Beach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.